We're just all about joy and colour and what makes us happy, which then makes other people happy, I guess. Every online sale is like a mini miracle, really, that there's so many steps that people have gone to actually buy something from someone they don't know. I think it's about putting yourself out there a little bit and showing who you are because, you know, I guess it's that thing where people buy from who they like, know, trust.
Welcome to Add to Cart, the podcast that Express delivers all you need to know in the fast-moving world of e-commerce. Every month, Nathan Bush from 12 High and an e-commerce industry expert will share the news, research and insights that you need to know to keep you at the top of your game. And of course, keep your customers adding to cart.
Hello and welcome to Add to Cart. My name is Nathan Bush, host of Add to Cart and e-commerce consultant at 12 High. Today, we spend time with Pip Brett, who is the owner of homewares and fashion retailer JUMBLED. Now, if you haven't visited or seen JUMBLED online, you might not get JUMBLED. So I encourage you that if you can, have a Google and check them out before listening. Obviously, don't do it while you're driving a car or driving a forklift or eating a burrito. It's just not safe. Based out of Orange in regional New South Wales, Pip and her team have created a product range which could probably be better described as a gallery and a customer base that's definitely better described as a community. And if you don't believe me, JUMBLED won the Global Innovation Award in Chicago for retail experiences just last year. Not bad for a retailer out of Orange, hey? So in our chat, we cover everything from how regional retailers often make better storytellers, how JUMBLED approached the complicated world of shipping when you're dealing with regional, bulky, and fragile complications. Get your head around that. And how Pip and the team is collaborating with the best in design to create unique product specifically for JUMBLED. Now, thanks to our partners Shopify Plus and Signet, here is our conversation with Pip Brett from JUMBLED. Pip Brett, welcome to Add to Cart.
Thank you for having me, Nathan.
It's so good to have you on. I feel like I know you because I listen to the JUMBLED Loves a Chat podcast where you interview some of your retailers, but a lot of creative people, and I find it fascinating. And my wife actually put me onto your podcast first.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And she said, "You've got to listen to Pip," and it was so awesome. I love hearing more into your world there. And it was only then that I went onto your store as well, and then I was looking through your store, and I was like, We've got that. That's hanging up in my house. That's around. And I realized
where it's all come from.
I know where it's all come from.
Oh, that's
so, Pip, can you give our listeners, before we get into the podcast and everything else that happens in your world, a little bit around JUMBLED and who JUMBLED are and the origins of JUMBLED?
Yeah, sure. So I have a brick and mortar store in Orange, which is Central West New South Wales, and it's like a big old Masonic hall called the Sonic. And in there, I had two stores, Igloo, a clothing store, and JUMBLED, a homeware store, but I've combined them into one during COVID, so it's just JUMBLED. And it's pretty much everything that I love all under one roof. So a one-stop shop, and we're not doing anything groundbreaking. We're just all about joy and colour and what makes us happy, which then makes other people happy, I guess.
Yeah, I love the line that you've got on your Instagram around more is more, less is a bore. And I think it sums it up so well, hey.
Yeah, it's life too, isn't it? Yeah.
That's so true. And tell us a little bit more around the types of products that you stock, because you definitely have a feel. There's definitely a JUMBLED look. What qualifies for a JUMBLED look?
A JUMBLED look. It's just kind of evolved because it's just pretty much what we love. But yeah, I guess it's always changing. We're always adding new things, but it's definitely a real focus on colour and what, you know, the clothing and the homeware side operate a bit differently. For me, fashion is all about, you know, that magical power of when you wear something new and you feel so good in it. That's what I want people to feel when they wear something from us. You know, when you look good, you feel good. and vice versa. When you feel good, you look good, that sort of type thing.
Yep.
And not taking ourselves too seriously. And the homewares side is all about, I guess, pieces that have a story and that you connect with and that you love. I love, in particular, original art. That's probably been our big growth area, and it's what I'm most passionate about, really, and what I keep buying myself too, probably. But yeah.
And you've got a physical store, which we touched on, is in Orange. And how long have you been up and running in e-commerce for?
Well, I started Igloo, my clothing store, when I was 21. So we just had our 16th birthday for the store. When I opened Igloo, there was no e-commerce, or I don't think there was. And, I didn't even get people's email addresses. I got physical postal addresses, which was a nightmare.
Did you do anything with them?
I did. I had no money as well. The first 3 years were pretty tough, but I would send out a postcard or a little printed thing. They're always really beautiful, but I could do it sort of twice a year, seasonally, and then maybe once again twice for a sale. And that's what I look back on and think that's the only communication I could have with my customer. And people loved it because I tried to make it really personal. We'd pop in there, at Christmas time, a little wish list that you could leave lying around the house and tick off little boxes and cross things out and things like that. So people loved that, but I could only do it 4 times a year. And every time, the more people I got on my list, the more money it just kept costing. And then so I think to now when, 4 times a day I have access to my customer and it's for free, and I can tell them the sale's gone down more one day and then I've got this in the next day and that, so I just think it's amazing where we are. But probably started the e-commerce very reluctantly as well, mind you, when I had this great girl working for me, Holly Cardew, who now has Pixie, who deep etches the images, and she's just killing it. It's amazing. But I was lucky enough to have her working for me, and she convinced me to start an online store. And I think at the same time we started Instagram. Yeah, so I think that's been like 8 years, maybe 6 or 8 years. Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Holly. We had her co-founder of VOP, Mike Angel, on earlier as well, and she's doing some awesome stuff with VOP as well. So amazing. I didn't realise she came from JUMBLED.
Yeah, well, I only had her for a little while. She was going places, but she like whenever she writes to me on Instagram or sends me an email going, great job, I love that, I just think, oh my God, that's amazing coming from you. When you just meet someone in life that really changes the track that you're on. Yeah. Holly is just one of those people, and yeah, we're very different people, but she just is totally inspiring.
It's awesome. Awesome. I love the circle of e-commerce that happens in Australia and seeing people pick up in different places and use their skills in other ways. It's fantastic.
I know. It's so funny. I remember when she was like, you really should get Instagram. I'm like, oh, what the hell is that? And she was like, well, you should do it. You just take, pictures of your coffee, pictures of your feed, like a little bunch of photos. It's like giving a little glimpse into your daily life. And I was like, no one wants to know that. She was like, trust me, they will. It's going to be the next big thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And so, yes, probably still take pictures of my coffee. I think I did yesterday. My feet. I don't know, but it's just funny how it's just funny how things work out, isn't it?
Did you know that Lush Cosmetics have committed to being naked 50% of the time? That means free from packaging, you sickos. But when packaging is used, it needs to meet stringent environmental guidelines, including being 100% recyclable. So that's when Lush joined forces with our partner Signet to provide an eco-friendly outer packaging solution, which helps get their products in the hands of retailers in perfect condition while making a minimal environmental impact. To see the packaging solutions that Lush Cosmetics use, plus 5,500 other solutions, Visit signet.net.au and up your e-commerce packaging game today. So to give people a little bit of context on your journey, starting out with the fashion store Igloo, I understand that you didn't necessarily go out to be a retailer from the start.
Yeah, so I grew up in Orange, and my mum had a clothing store here for 25 years, which was like quite groundbreaking then. There wasn't really, every small country town now has a beautiful store and things like that, especially now because of Buy from the Bush and amazing initiatives like that. But I went to boarding school, and when I left, I studied fashion at UTS, and I then wanted to be a designer, but by the end of the fourth year, I decided, no, retail's for me. I'm going to open my own store, but I didn't know if I'd do it in Sydney or Orange or what I was going to do, but decided on Orange because, and like I said before, it is a bit different now, but back then, 16 years ago, regionally, there was some really amazing brands doing wonderful things like Sass & Bide and Tiger Lily, but they only stocked in the major cities. So I thought, imagine if you could get them out here. So much going on. There's so many young people, and there's a real desire for that. Decided to do it out here and really didn't think too much about the future, and opened Igloo when I was 21. And from that, the first years were quite tricky, but then you hit that third year and you kind of have worked out what people are wanting, who they are, they work out who I am. And then, I opened a homewares store after I bought a house and realized that I loved homewares just as much as I loved fashion. And then, over the years I've moved to different locations, and then I think with Jumbled, the homewares store, it was so unique and different that we grew quite quickly, and we'd outgrown our space. Our online was growing, our Instagram was growing, and we were on the lookout for a new place. And my husband, who's super uncreative, was the one who found the big old Masonic Hall in town. It's in the most perfect spot, but didn't know it was for sale. It had been for sale for 4 years. And so he's a builder, and we renovated that in a whirlwind of 6 weeks. And we just sort of created the dream that I'd had of that concept store, of coffee, fashion, home that I'd seen in Europe and America, that I thought, that would be, from the outset, I didn't see that vision, but it just, as soon as we saw that space, and that then space has allowed us to grow even more. So it's been great.
I haven't seen it myself in person, but the photos I've seen of it is just phenomenal. It just looks incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Do you find that it's almost a tourist attraction in itself? Do you have people traveling to come to the store to check it out?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, it is a destination retail space. It's just amazing. I just feel like something's changed again in your business. You can't quite put a finger on it, but I just feel like when people come in, they're so invested in who you are and the space. And it's the saying, they're like, I feel like I know you, we're best friends. And, the space is better in real life. And that makes me so happy, because when I first started Jumbled, I had this tiny, tiny store, like so small and so full, that when people came in, they're like, oh, I thought it'd be much bigger than this. And I'm like, oh, that's my feelings. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just quite creative with my photos. Like, I'd sort of worked out this one tiny, like 30 centimetre square piece with the perfect bit of light hitting it, that I was like, yeah, I do quite well with my photos, I think, in here. But it's so much nicer for people then to say, so much better than I thought. And I'm like, oh, that's good. That's what I want. Yeah.
Oh, funny story the other day. I went and looked at a house. We're looking at moving, maybe. We'll see what happens. But it was basically we saw this photo on realestate.com, turned up to the house, and the house was a totally different colour to what it was in the photos. They just photoshopped it a different colour.
Oh, my God.
So anything's possible.
I know. It's so cheeky, isn't it? Yeah. Vision.
But the vision.
Selling the vision to you.
And not overselling it.
No.
I think you're playing yourself down a little bit, though, in terms of what you've created here, in terms of, and I know it's hard to, something that is so visual and so almost, I'm not going to say cult-like, but you have such a strong following. It's hard to get that across. You recently won the Global Innovation Awards in Chicago. I know,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah. So we got, Jumble was selected to represent Australia at the awards, and I went really not fully knowing what we're in for. Like, we had to do lots before we went, but I kind of didn't understand the gravity of it until we were at the event, and I leant over to my husband. I was like, oh, I really want to win now. Like, I really want to win. He's like, you're not going to. And I was like, I know, but I do. Anyway, we won. And,
so what did you win for?
For excellence in retail. And it was amazing. And I felt like it was, not only like a pat, it was amazing to go for Australia as well, but it was a pat on my back that we were doing the right thing, that we were going in the right direction. But it was just an amazing experience in general, just getting to meet the other retailers and the mentors, and the whole event just sort of was, at the time probably there was a lot of media stuff, and there is still now, that, retail's dead and struggling and doom and gloom and bricks and mortar, boo-hoo, and all that sort of stuff. But I feel like the whole event was like, boring retail's dead, but retail is alive and it's thriving, and you have to be kind of more than just a retail store to survive. You've got to be events, you've got to be workshops, you've got to be a meeting place for your community, you've got to, have a, just be more. And so
you gotta be involved, right?
Yeah, you have to have a playlist, you have to have a fragrance. Like, it was just, tiring, but really, really inspiring.
That's awesome. And what was the thing, did you get any feedback from the judges or the panel in there around what really stood out for them, for this retailer in Orange in Australia? What made you guys stand out amongst the world?
I think it was, I can't remember what they said to us exactly. I think it was the whole idea of community and a community meeting place, but also the way in which we try to personalize every touch point that someone would have with our business. So we try and get that online experience to be as joyful as the in-store experience. And so, that's still a work in progress as well. But that's what we're sort of aiming to do. So I think that's what got us over the line, and a little bit of my crazy visual merchandising, I think, helps a little bit. I love to annoy my husband and suspend things from ceilings and things like that. He's like, oh, you're so annoying. Yeah.
You've got the vision. He's got the skills to build it.
Yes. It's handy being married to a builder. Yeah.
Now, when you say matching the in-store experience to online, what have you tried specifically from an online perspective to try and bring that to life?
Okay. So, with our social media, we try and, especially when we were locked down with COVID and no one could come into the store, we were trying to give, that experience of in-store through our social media, like through advice, through videos, through showing people the products, maybe like stepping them through a little bit more. With clothing, we've got every different size of girl working for us, so we try and show it on real people to give a bit of an understanding. But it's trying to give that joyful experience and to sort of show how we feel about the item as well. Then the online experience, like the actual physical store. We try and do that through images and descriptions and our blog posts and our newsletters, using our language. So the way we would talk to someone in store, even our shipping confirmation email sounds personal, and it's from Jess, and it's got all of our pictures, who we are, what silly things we're up to. So we try and do it that way. Yeah.
Is that kind of content, and this kind of content, like the shipping notifications and stuff, is that stuff that you update regularly? Because I'm imagining that you've got a lot of customers who would be return customers. Do you try and put effort into updating that regularly?
Yeah, and we also, every online order goes out with a personal note. So that is based on, of course, who they are, what they've ordered, how well we know them, if they're a first-time buyer or whatever. And we try and make that, we probably went through a stage where it was maybe a written note, but was it really that personal? And so we're making a real effort to, my husband, he was working for the business for a little while, and he was the best at those notes. Like, he was super, super good. But yeah, like, we're trying to make it more thoughtful and grateful. And, we are every time an online order comes through, we get more now, but even I try and think back to the early days too, and that every online sale is like a mini miracle, really, that there's so many steps that people have gone to actually buy something from someone they don't know, that I just, we have to keep reminding ourselves of that. So that's something that changes all the time. And yeah, the shipping notifications, we do try and change, and all those emails, especially when we get great new imagery of our staff and things like that. But yeah, it's a constant, the to-do list is ever growing, isn't it, for every small business? But that's our aim. And yeah.
How have you managed to keep a bit of pip and everything? And I've noticed that, you bring your team along as well. Like, Jess is really well known to your audience as well, to your customers as well. Yeah. How do you keep like a bit of pip into everything without going insane?
I used to not be in anything, and then because hated my voice, now I've got a podcast, which is so crazy. Didn't think I would do that. And all my face on anything, or my body, like, I'd be like, use my body but not my head to the girls in pictures. But then, I think I went through, I think it was an Insta stories kind of started, and that's another probably turning point in our business as well, where I think I just talked my way through a Kip & Co catalogue of new bedding that was coming in, and said the things that I really liked and what I would like, and, and it went really well, and I got great feedback, and I was like, oh, okay, I might try that again. And, this time I'll do it a different way, or this time I'll just put my face on it, and then that went well, and that did well. So, it was like through building confidence and through testing what worked and what didn't. And I don't like to think that actual real people are watching it, because then I'd be embarrassed. Like, I'm embarrassed if I see that my husband's watching. I'm like, oh, don't watch that. I just did like a really, really daggy dance. Like, I try not to think of that anyone really cares, because you care more than they care. And I guess my staff are different. I mean, are the same as well, in that they may have been the same as me at the start, and then they then don't care either. But I still have, I have 10 staff, and half of them you'll never see their face because they don't want to be on it. And I'm totally respectful of that also, even though I do try. But I do think, it's like, what do you keep for yourself and what do you share? I think it's not a strategic thing. It's just what kind of comes naturally. Like, we're sort of building a house at the moment, and I'm worried that I'm annoying people with it, but I'm like really excited by it. So yeah,
I feel like I'm going on the house journey with you. Like, I'm renovating my.
No, when are we moving in?
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, when's this going to be ready? Come on, I'm really excited about that. That looks great.
Totally. And so I'm like, I think as you get older too, you kind of care less about what people think.
Yep.
So I actually don't care, because majority of the people that like you, and the people that don't like you. So then I think, oh, well, I don't know. You know what I mean?
It probably helps too with not worrying so much about competition or what others are doing, whether that be in the content space or whether that be in the retail space or whatever. If you just go, this is me, this is what I do, this is what our customers love about us, and just keep going for that.
100%. I feel like not much can be gained from looking at your competition, because it only makes you feel a bit shit. And it's kind of like people's highlight reel too. I don't know. It's just such a tricky one, isn't it? Like, I don't know. But I think nothing's to be gained from that. I think, I did a podcast with Rachel Castle, and she was like, her advice was like, stay in your own lane. Just like, just do what you're doing and you stay true to yourself. Like,
yep, do what you do. Look after the people that support you and just do it bloody well.
Yeah.
I think we've actually got a Rachel Castle print, which is actually very similar. We've got it hanging in our daughter's room around stay in your lane.
Yeah. You may have bought it from my shop. Your wife may.
Probably. Tell us about running a regional retail business.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously a very deliberate choice, where you grew up, where you love. How are regional retailers feeling right now? And I'm not asking you to speak on behalf of everyone, but what's the general gist that you feel, and what are some of the positives and challenges of coming from a regional area?
I feel like there's no better time really to be a regional store. I think that's what COVID has sort of shown us. I had thought that before though, but I just really feel like it's our time to shine, which is really wonderful. I think the negatives at the start, when I first started Igloo, it was very hard to try and get brands, to come on board. And even there still is a little bit of that, because there is a misconception that because you live in the country, you may not like cool things, or it's not as, but I think out here people have got as much style, as much money, if not even more.
Yep.
And I think they understand the essence of the joy of life, you know what I mean? So I feel like the market's here, and since COVID, my town of Orange, at the end of lockdown, my town of Orange, has been booming because of people wanting to get out of the major cities. So in that respect, it's been really wonderful. I guess the logistics of shipping and distance are always a bit tricky, but I do think the positives outweigh the negatives. So I feel like we're able to set ourselves apart from our competitors because, we do have a unique story that we're here in Orange. We've got a massive store that we own, well the bank owns, but that we semi-own. We're able to have a big amount of space, cost of living's less. There are really good people out here to employ, or people are willing to move out here. But, there's also that sense of like loyalty and community out here that I don't feel like that you necessarily get in a big city. But yeah, I just feel like it's a really exciting time to be in a regional or rural area. And I think that is also to be, we just came out of one of the biggest droughts ever. And I really do think that, buy from the bush, stay in the bush, and great efforts from the tourism bodies really has paved the way, to things start paying off. Even COVID, I feel like rural businesses were quite well set up to cope. Yeah. So, yeah, it's good. It's exciting.
Good. I love that. I love that it's feeling good. I love what you said there around telling us the ability to tell a story. And to me, you've got people like Jane at Bird's Nest, the guys that love. She's amazing. Spell on the Gypsy. Obviously, you guys, there's a heap of examples out there, and I don't know, for some reason it feels like you get your story so much quicker than if you were in with other retailers in a city landscape. Do you think that comes down to being regional or the types of personality that you let shine coming from a smaller community?
Yeah, maybe. It's a really interesting question, actually, that's made me just like my brain just went tick, tick, maybe. I think maybe with regional stores and like Jane from Bird's Nest and Spell, like, do you see more of who the founders are, who the actual people are, rather than trying to be a big brand or maybe being bigger or trying to be seen as bigger? Like, I probably went through a stage of Igloo where I wanted to be cooler, like more sophisticated, and that's not me at all. And so, you know, and it didn't resonate with anyone. But as soon as we jump in the outfit rather than some like hot model, like as soon as we get in it, we get the sales. So, you know, I don't know. I think it's about putting yourself out there a little bit and showing who you are, because, you know, I guess it's that thing where people buy from who they like, know, trust. And I think that if you show, you know, I guess here at Jumbled, we're sort of selling a lifestyle as well as a product. You know, we wanted to showcase the city, the town that we live in, you know, and the community that we live in. And then in turn, that's just sort of become ingrained in our business as such. And then we've sort of been showcasing who we are. After that was just sort of something that came out of going, let's try and get everyone to come to Orange, you know. It's just everything evolves, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's a nice way of putting it, and it kind of reminds me of, you know, when you see a movie that you go, oh, that the town in that movie was almost like a character in that movie, like
yes.
Yeah. And,
yes, 100%.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like that with what you're doing as well. Think Shopify Plus is just for simple retailers? Well, let me tell you, JB Hi-Fi is no simple business. But when their old site crashed for 2 hours during Black Friday, doing nothing was simply not an option. Shopify Plus was selected as their e-commerce partner to help facilitate the fast-growing $5 billion retailer. However, with over 200 dispatch locations, a reliance on a web of APIs, and the ability to handle triple growth, it wasn't an out-of-the-box implementation. But the results spoke for themselves. JB Hi-Fi cruised through a record Black Friday and Cyber Monday in 2019 without a hitch, have reduced average page load time by 15%, and were even able to redeploy 3 techies whose job it was just to watch the servers to make sure it didn't go down. JB Hi-Fi and Shopify Plus, not just smashing prices, but smashing e-commerce. To read more of JB Hi-Fi's story and see other case studies, visit the customer section on shopify.com.au/plus. Just to switch gears a little bit, one of the challenges that you mentioned around e-commerce from a regional area was shipping. So Australia is notoriously a shit place and an expensive place for e-commerce shipping. What are some of the techniques that you can share or strategies that to kind of mitigate that?
Yeah, it's like the constant battle, really. But, and you know, so many, I feel like consumers expect free shipping as well, which is just such a hard thing to pull off and to offer, especially if you are regional or anywhere really, because the country is so big and your customer can live in Perth or, you know, and they may want an artwork. But I think the people in your back room need to be really invested in your business in terms of like, what's the best way to send each item? Because we will use a variety of different ways depending on what it is, where it's going. So you really need someone that's like, or a team that's really thinking and problem solving, because, yeah, we'll use AusPost, couriers, we use pack and send, we use removalists. Like, it will all depend. So you've got to be flexible on it. But also, you got to win some to lose some. Like, definitely there is orders that cost us money in the end, and that's annoying. But then I always say, well, they might come back to us and spend more money with us, and in the long run, you've got this loyal customer. Shipping is such a tricky one that you can get really caught up in, but we now, with large pieces, we charge the customer for shipping. So for an original artwork, we'll get the best price for them, but we charge for that. But it is fascinating that someone is willing to spend $4,500 on an artwork, but they are so pissed off that they have to pay $190 freight to get it from Orange to like far north Queensland.
Really?
I find it fascinating that when you want it to be safe, insured, protected, you spend all that money, but the shipping just upsets them. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that's overcome. I think it's a shame that it's something that's here, but I don't know.
My gut feeling would have been, and it's funny, I'm surprised by it as well, because my gut feeling would have been someone spending $4,500 on a painting, offering free shipping might actually put them off because they're not sure that it will be quality shipping and that they may be in the deep if it turns up damaged or not looked after.
I don't know. It's such a tricky one that on a daily basis I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just something we have to all. But I do think the couriers in Australia Post do a pretty amazing job. I find it baffling that whenever Australia Post loses something or breaks something, you don't get anything from them. That there's not many other businesses that could even be allowed. But all in all, doesn't happen that often, that I think it's pretty good. You know, you got to take the good with the bad, don't you?
Yeah.
And I think if you're, you know, when the post system does slow down a lot, like it did with COVID and it will do again with Christmas, I'm sure. I think if you're just staying really honest and in touch with your customer, keeping them updated, I think they're pretty understanding.
How are you feeling about the postal system going into 2020 Christmas?
Oh, I think it's going to be a nightmare. But, you know, you hope that people will order early, but it never happens. It does with some people. I don't know. It's one of those tricky ones. But I think you can only do what you can do, can't you? You know, like if we try our best on our end, then, you know, if we can get things out in a timely manner, then we've done our part. But the customer's interesting. They get, you know, it's your fault when the Australia Post doesn't get something to them on time. But, you know, in saying when we got the big influx of online orders during COVID, we needed to be able to get things out too. So we've employed like 3 new people. So I'm hoping that we can also stay on top of that as well. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
I can imagine your customer complaints of what there are would be much friendlier and nicer than many of the larger corporate complaints. Would that be fair?
Yes, no? Probably. I hope so. I hope so. You know what? I think it's that one thing probably you can get like 99 beautiful comments, the same on your Instagram, the same with your complaints. And then it's just that one that's just ultra brutal or just really hurtful that you're just like, oh, if only you knew it was just like me on my Instagram looking after it and you've just ruined my night. But I don't know. I always, you know, Jane Kay from Bird's Nest, she spoke at a women's business event that we had here in Feb, and she said, when in doubt, be generous. And I think that's just like such a good motto to like rule your business by, because, you know, I think in business every day there's like lots of problems that arise that you have to solve. And I think it's far easier, quicker, better for your soul just to be generous and get it resolved, you know what I mean, than to fight it and try and be, make a point. Just, I think, let it go.
Because you might feel good in that moment, but you're not going to really remember.
It actually doesn't, and you've then lost someone. And
it's a good point. Really good point. Now, you mentioned earlier we talked about the look and the feel of Jumbled, and you said that it's everything that we like. Do you still do the buying personally yourself?
Yeah, I do it all. I do it all with Jess. And so, yeah, it's exactly what we like.
That's awesome. And how's that process work for you?
It's so simple. We literally order just what we like. And then, I feel like we're just starting to push push our limits a little bit on quantities because everything has been selling out. And I feel like I think we're bombarded by so many new things every day as a consumer that you have to, I feel like at Jumbled, our thing is that we really need to be, releasing new things all the time, like surprising and delighting.
Yeah.
But it has a really short shelf life of that surprise and delight, if you know what I mean. Like, so it's like that, move on, and that, and then move on.
Yep.
So you've got a little bit of time to capitalize. So, yeah, we're literally, artworks get sent to us, pictures from our artists. You like this? Yeah, take it. No, send it. No. It's just it's a gut instinct of whether we love something or not.
Yep.
That's straight away, and I hope. And so far it's been working for us. But, yeah, it's a gut instinct of that you can't really pinpoint. It's like as a consumer when you buy an artwork or a dress, like there's no way you had probably intended to buy that funny thing, but you did. Yeah.
You did. Yeah. Like you've got your favourites, obviously, like the Rachel Castles, the Kip & Co., the Sass & Bide, which I imagine is your go-to. How do you discover new things that you might love? What are your sources?
Yeah, I find lots on Instagram, like just finding random things. And it's even cool that you have access pretty much to the whole world now. We also do like a competition each year, like the Jumbled Art Superstar, and it has to be an artist who's not signed on to anyone and they're in no regional stores. That's really great to get new talent and to sort of guide them through that year of mentoring them through with their socials and with their art as well. So that's been great. We've found like great people through that every year. Like we usually pick up about 7 new artists, and it's really exciting and some of them have now left their full-time jobs, and it's really cool. So that's a really cool way. Lots of people email. We find things all different ways, but we're trying now to make some more of our own unique product. So that might be through a collaboration where we reach out to someone or they might reach out to us. Like it's, you're utilizing the skills of another person. Yeah, and that's been such a fun process and such a fun thing to do.
Yeah. And some of the collaborations, what I see from your social are just so highly anticipated, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage that anticipation when you're saying we might be doing something here, we don't know what it's going to be yet, we think you guys will love it, and then you've built up all this anticipation. How do you that would do my head in.
I think that's the fun part. Like I feel like what I love about a collaboration is what the consumer loves about the collaboration. So the whole process is fascinating. Like I love that part where we're like, we're collaborating with this person. You might see a few glimpses of what we're doing. Like we're purposely taking people on the journey from like receiving samples to them arriving to the photo shoot to the story behind the product to the launch day and then hopefully like the sellout of it. So we sort of try and put it in with the podcasts and newsletters and so we are trying to create that buzz, but because it is that short life of things and you want things just to kind of sell out if possible. But it's exciting. It's like lovely to satisfy your own creative needs, but then, we're setting ourselves apart from our competitors and we're creating things that we actually wanted but couldn't get. So yeah, it's been one of the greatest things that has probably happened this year, really.
I love it. It's such a great spin on home brand product because it's not home brand product. It's quality, it's designer.
I love that. I might have to do some canned food next or something. That could be fun.
The new Andy Warhol, hey?
I know. Cream corn.
Cream corn.
I don't know. I used to love that. I haven't had that for years. Yeah.
It goes well with the regional story.
Totally. Might have to be apples, though. Apples are grown in Orange. No oranges.
Plenty you can do with apples.
Totally.
All right. So that I might have answered the next question, actually. What's next for yourself and Jumbled?
I think, we've definitely, in the lead up to Christmas, we've got some really exciting collaborations coming out, which is really, really good. Yeah, the future would be, I'd like to create more of our own stuff. I just think that's just so fun and so fun to launch and create everything. For Jumbled, I love where we're at the moment and I love our team and I don't, there's no wild plans to expand or become bigger in any way. I just want to really fine tune what we're doing now so that we can be the best we can be and it be the best in-store experience and the best online experience. So just fine tuning. And for myself personally, I think just having time, taking time, I think if COVID's shown anything, it's family, friends.
Yep.
They're the really important things. And I just wanted to, I feel like I've, been working so hard that I feel like now is the time to be enjoying all of these things. And I think you can't rest on your laurels. I don't think we can stop and be like, okay, our job is done now. But I think we can just really focus on what are the things that we really enjoy doing and doing more of that, and the things that we don't love, ditching that.
That's great advice. And I think it goes through, it's a common theme basically through everything you spoke about today. Do what you're passionate about, do what you're good at, stay in your lane. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Pip, there's so many ways to get in touch with you, whether it's the podcast, Jumbled Loves a Chat. Go check that out. There's some great interviews. I personally love the ones where it's just you and Jess speaking because you get great insight.
That's where we've run out of ideas. Ideas.
Oh, well. Watch out. It could be just me speaking to myself in future episodes of this show, so that won't be as entertaining. That'd be great. How else can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, then there's our online store, which is jumbledonline.com, and then our Instagram @jumbledonline.
Beautiful. And I can really, even if you're not a homewares or a fashion kind of person, go check it out because it's a fantastic, it was one thing for us talking about it today, but it's only when you see it, I think, that you fully understand the story that Pip you've shared today. And it's just amazing to see it all together more than a retail experience. So it's great.
Thank you
very much.
Pleasure.
Now, when I got off that chat with Pip, it was a bit weird because it didn't feel like I was speaking with a retailer. And I'm used to speaking to retailers. And of course, Pip is a retailer and a bloody good one, but it didn't feel like retail. It felt like Pip was just building what she liked. What she liked in physical spaces, product collections, and a team. She's just surrounding herself with places, things, and people that she's genuinely passionate about and make her feel good. And I know we talked about regional retailers as great storytellers, but I think that maybe the story really just comes naturally from people who love where they are, who they're with, and what they're doing. The content, the sales, the awards, they all just flow on, and they're the flow-on effect from staying true to what you love. That's my little Oprah moment for the week. But it is something I took out of it personally. So whether that be as a starting point for other retailers looking to reinvent themselves, or how I get more connected to you guys in this podcast, authenticity and passion will always win. If you're looking for more e-commerce news, case studies and research, sign up to 12 High's High 5 newsletter. Every week, I read all the e-commerce news and send you 5 things which I've found which will help grow your business. Visit 12high.com.au/high5, HIGH5, to sign up for free. Thanks for listening, And until next time, keep adding to cart.